Now, there was one very important thing that once I started doing this correctly, my game completely transformed. Now, let me ask you this. Do you find yourself getting a little bit steep in the downswing, maybe standing up out of your posture? I know that I used to, and I see almost every player that I work with is doing a bit of that standing up, kind of backing out of their posture, releasing the club out in front. Let me tell you, it makes it pretty daggone hard to hit the ball square and solid. Now, when we're looking at pros, what they're doing is instead of that club coming down steeper, and if I kind of paused halfway down, I'm going to look at the angle of the shaft compared to the angle of my forearm. Most of the players that I'll work with will have something more like this, where that club shaft is on this side of the forearm. Now, when we look at pro players, the best players in the world, something very different is happening. As they start to shallow this club in the downswing, that club matches the forearm angle. Now, I don't know if I have that exactly perfectly right there, but what I'm saying is that the shaft of the club and the right forearm halfway into the downswing are perfectly lined up with each other. Now, that's because they're in a position where they're down in their posture. They have a lot of lag if we're looking from face on. That club head is parallel to the ground when their hands are in front of their right thigh here, and that puts them in a position there as they deliver this club. We have that coveted shaft lean. The hands are in front of the golf ball at impact. The face is really nice and squared up. We're in our posture, we're rotating open. Everybody wants to do that. Now let me walk you through a step-by-step drill that's going to get you to do that exact same feeling. What I want you to do is stand straight up, and we've probably done this before, but you may have done it the wrong way. But I'm going to do a baseball swing here. So instead of swinging down at imagine a plane of glass and I'm tilted toward the golf ball, I'm going to take that plane of glass and I'm just going to make it level with the ground. Now in the backswing, what happens is my left arm is going to be a little above my shoulder plane. So if I leveled out my shoulders and just rotated flat with the ground, my left arm would be a little vertical that. And you can see that in a golf swing. When I'm tilted down, my shoulders are going to be at one angle, and at the top of my backswing, you're going to see my left arm is a little bit above that on a slightly steeper angle. Now if I took that exact same position and made a baseball swing with that, I'm going to go to the top of the swing like this. Again, I'm doing level with the ground, but my arms are going to be above my shoulders at the end of the backswing. This is the position that you should be in at the top of your backswing. Now from here, what most players do is they drop the club in like this. They get the club level with the shoulders, but look at that right forearm. It's way below my club shaft. If I was to do this same baseball swing and have that feeling and tilt down, all of a sudden that's that steep shaft above the forearm, which I see so many players get into. And in reality, when you tilt down, if you have the club in that position, if I was to keep swinging down, I'm going to be slamming that thing so hard into the ground, it's going to break the club shaft. So what I want to do there is instead of swinging down this way and standing up so the club doesn't smash into the ground, I want to shallow that out and get that more on this angle. So do that exact same baseball swing again. Go to the top of the swing, shoulders level, left arm above, and then from here, as you start your downswing, I shallow that club out. That's the shallowing move that everybody's talking about. So from when your hands are at the top to when your hands are about 45 degrees here in front. So you imagine my hands are pointing this direction. 90 degrees would be toward this camera, down the line would be toward that camera. As my hands get that 45 degrees in front angle and they're pointing this way, that club shaft should now be on the same plane or the same angle as that forearm. And if I can do that, now I've shallowed that club out perfectly. Check out my right elbow, really tucked like everybody's wanting to do. Look at the angle in my arms and my wrist. Tons of lag like everybody wants to have in the downswing. So follow that step-by-step progression and you can get that feel. Now there's a problem with that. When we do this, if I just feel like I drop the hands in and come to impact, I'm going to block that shot. So what's going to happen here is I'm going to get it into the slot finally. It's going to feel amazing, but that ball is going to block out to the right like that. The reason is I haven't squared everything back up and I haven't released that club face. This was the second realization that really helped this to get in the right spot. So I would shallow that club out now, but I was hitting blocks because when I came through contact, I was just holding everything open. Look at that club face now, way open. That square, that's going to be way open. Again, if I did this same thing and I got in my posture, that club face is pointing a mile to the right when it should be pointing square like this to the golf ball. This is those wrist alignments that you're seeing with all the top pros. So what I want you to do is once you get this club shallowed out, you get it matching the forearm plane. Now from there, if I release and I'm hitting towards you, I'm going to let this club face roll on over. So instead of having the face up and down like this, it's going to roll on over that way. If I do that setting up to like I was going to hit a golf ball here, I have my shallowing out position. And then from there, instead of having this club face vertical or straight up and down like this, I'm going to go ahead and let that thing turn over past vertical. Now the club face angle is like that. So when I get this club parallel to the ground in the follow through, it's going to be turning over this way. Now if I do those things, if I shallow it out and I release the club like that, I can turn left as hard as I want to. I can open my body as hard as I want to. I can stay in my posture. I could even get way down here and it would be fine because my hands are so far in front that would be coming in level with the ground. So once you get in the slot and you learn to release it, swing as hard left as you want to. Roll the hands as hard as you want to, and it's fine. You're going to hit a fantastic shot. So now let's try it out the right way. I'm going to shallow it out, and then I'm going to release the club as I'm coming on through. I'm not going to hold it square like this. All right, let's give that a whirl. There we go. That one felt amazing. Started kind of the right center of the fairway. I hit it really nice. This is a 6-iron. Looks like it carried maybe 203, 205, just right side of the flag, 203 carry. So once you get it in the slot, don't hold on to it. You got to let that thing go ahead and release, go ahead and let it turn over. Now, a lot of players can get the shallowing part correct once we go through this drill, but I find sometimes players really have a tough time getting their wrists to square up. So getting their hands to turn down, get that bowed left wrist, get that club lagging behind their hands, get the right wrist kind of angled back like that. And every single pro is doing that. And the reason that's so important is that you have to get the hands in front and you can't have that face open. I got to square that face up. Well, I have a drill that really makes it easy to get this. Just like I walked you through step by step how to shallow it, now I'm going to walk you through step by step exactly what you have to do with your hands and wrist to get that face squared up at the bottom of the swing. And I call it the tennis racket drill. Now, I'm going to play a preview of that video here in just 1 second. All you have to do is just go ahead, click the card that pops up somewhere on your screen, or if you don't see that, don't worry, just go down to the description below and click the link there, and you'll be able to see that tennis racket drill right away. I'm going to walk you through that pro wrist angles, what the pros are doing to finally get the wrist bowed, the right wrist back, and to get the shaft in front at impact. It's going to make a world of difference in your golf game. Best of luck, and I'll see you in the tennis racket video. Good player problems. We're going to talk about shallowing that club shaft out as we're starting down, as we're doing this rotating of the face that we worked on in the last video. As we start this downswing, what you'll see with basically all of the top players is instead of coming kind of over the top and letting the hands come out away from their body, letting the club come out away from their body, again coming down steep into the ball and then having to open up, kind of fillet open the face and add loft to it. The flattening of the shaft should happen as soon as we start down. So as we start this downswing, what we want to have happening here, you can imagine that if I draw a line from the hosel of my club up through my right elbow, that's my swing plane line, my elbow plane. As I go to the top of the swing, I'm going to be slightly above that. And then as I start down, I want my hands to start to shallow out. I want the club to shallow out inside of this elbow plane. And at the same time,